What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little bit of a break, but we are back. I have a lot of things now caught up. I was just enjoying gaming for a little bit, and I didn't really have too much motivation to make videos, and there wasn't too much that I really wanted to make a video about. But I just finished Doom Eternal, and I was very pleasantly surprised with that game, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So we're going to talk about why the game is so awesome, why you should be trying this game, and some things that I think the game could improve on for the next installation of Doom. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first thing I would like to bring up is just the graphics and the look and feel of this game, and wow, it is one of the most immersive games I've ever played. Especially when you get to the final missions where you're actually like down in hell and you're fighting demons and there's lava pouring everywhere and there's bodies scattered throughout the walls and things like that. It is so immersive and so breathtakingly beautiful, and it is so much fun to play through those sections, even though they might be a little bit tricky. And it was also really awesome going around to like Earth Wasted, and you're fighting through these skyscrapers, and you look around and you see these mech warriors that are destroyed, and you see these demons, walking through and things like that. It is just really awesome, and I think the atmosphere, the feel, and the look of the game really just makes it so hard to put the game down once you get going on it. It was just so impressive playing through so many different set pieces and having so many different areas to fight in. And for my first Doom game that I've ever played, it was such a good experience in terms of just overall immersion and really putting you in the shoes of the Doomslayer. And it goes even further than that, because in some missions you'll actually be around humans and things like that, and they look at you and they are just instantly like terrified. I remember this one part where you actually grab the key card on this guy's neck while it's still on his lanyard, and you end up drawing it over to like the opener, and then it opens the door. And I thought it was just so cool because it really made you, the player, feel like a badass, and it made you feel like you could take on this demon army that has been ravaging the planet. And I think another point to bring up that was just super awesome is when you're on this station with the giant gun, and they're like, you can't just shoot a hole in Mars, and then he just goes and does it. It's just so cool. He just does not give a shit, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to stop this demon invasion. I thought it was just so awesome. I really hope they keep that continuing into the next Doom game, because it was so awesome, and they're probably one of my favorite parts about the game. So now we're going to go and talk about level design, weapons, fighting, bosses, enemies, all that stuff. And I gotta say, wow, I did not expect there to be so many different demons and levels and ways to play the levels with all the new mechanics that they give you, like boosting, your glory kills, the flame belch, flamethrower. It was just so awesome. I will say my only critique of this system is it is a lot to kind of manage all at once, but once you have it all together and it starts flowing a bit better, it definitely starts to play a bit better. But at least for me, the first early part of the game to near the mid end of the game, it was pretty rough trying to balance all my abilities and weapons and things like that. I feel like the difficulty was pretty good for the game. It was pretty hard for me in some points to where I actually had to take a break and then come back once I had calmed down after getting tilted. But I thought the difficulty was overall pretty fair, and it made the game feel really, really, really rewarding when you had ended up getting through those really challenging parts. And I think fighting the demons, their armor breaking, blood spilling everywhere and things like that, it was so awesome, and it was seriously expertly crafted. And I've never had a game feel this great to play, and I've never had enemies that feel so good to like execute and use all these different weapons on. Now, I did think it was really cool to use like puzzles and things like that to kind of fill that gap in between fighting, so you're not always just immediately fighting, blood, guts, action, fighting. You get some nice downtime to calm down. You don't have to be in and out all the time, and you get these nice little moments where you get to solve these puzzles. Just adds so much more depth to the gameplay and a lot of replayability. My only complaint about the entire enemy sandbox is the Marauder. He's just way, way, way too strong, and I feel like they could have tweaked the shield a little bit more so he wasn't always just blocking anything mid-range, because it felt like at that point it really just stopped the combat loop to where you had to kill everything else and then fight the Marauder one-on-one because he was that strong. And other than that, I really think the sandbox was balanced perfectly, and I don't think they could have done a better job in my opinion. Now, I'm going to be honest, all the weapons are so sick. I love the Doom shotgun where you can grapple hook onto things and then shoot them in the face, and I loved the BFG gun, and there were so many great weapons and so many cool like little quirks that each gun has. Like this plasma launcher has this vent ability. When you charge it up, it just does a bunch of area effect around you, and there were so many cool things like that, and I thought it made all the encounters feel unique in their own different way, and it really made you feel like a badass when you're fighting. And now we're going to go and talk about the boss fights. I think the first boss fight was this guy on like a little floaty pad thing. He was pretty hard at first, but you end up getting later into the game and you end up fighting like maybe 2 or 3 of them at once, and it really lets you see how much you as a player have progressed. And that kind of goes along to what I was saying about all the tools and things that the game gives you to fight. It all starts making a lot more sense in how to use it and be the most effective killer you can. I thought the Marauder boss fight was really good. He was really hard, and at the end of the game I was able to take on the Marauder pretty easily, but he was still a hard boss fight. I thought the angel that you had to fight, or whatever it is, was really cool, and I thought that was a really interesting and unique boss fight. Really great one before the final boss fight where you fight the Icon of Sin, and that boss fight was so sick. It gave you that David versus Goliath boss fight, and just seeing the armor pop off and having to fight all these other demons with your crucible blade and things like that. It was just so sick and such an epic climax for the game. If the boss fight would have been, like the final boss fight would have been trash for this game, it would have killed a lot of the build up to the game. But wow, this boss fight was amazing, and I cannot wait to replay it again, eventually in due time, but I have some other games I want to play first. I do think the campaign was a little bit long for me, but I'm also someone who's used to playing through campaigns pretty quickly, so I think the campaign length would have been perfect. Not my personal preference, but I think the campaign was still great, and I would recommend playing this campaign to anyone. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you slap a like on it, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and let me know what you think about Doom Eternal in the comments section down below. Are you maybe going to try this game out after watching this review? Have you already played the game? And if you have, let me know what you thought of it. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for this video. Stay hydrated, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, boys.